crystal's glow slices through the tension as a calm young man with dark hair faces two challengers, and no one dares look away. A confident man steps forward, telling that being a national top scorer means nothing compared to their Hidden Dragon team standards. A calm young man with dark hair warned the group that strength mattered most and told them not to hold the Hidden Dragon team back. A taller, gloved man threatened with a metal bat, saying he would show no mercy and mocking arrogance compared to the family's young lady. Unleashed a wave of fiery energy, demanding to know what had just been said. A cloaked figure surrounded by a green energy shield raised her hand as two women shouted for Ling to stop immediately. A calm yet powerful necromancer told Sister that he was showing her consideration as a glowing orange dagger hovered between them. A nervous woman told they would meet tomorrow at 9 and that details of the trial would be explained then, thanking him for understanding. A confident woman with light hair tied back said they should go buy supplies and start making preparations. A woman with green eyes warned Ling, a blonde young man, not to let personal grudges affect the trial since Lord Shen endorsed the newcomer. A skeptical woman with dark hair argued that being a national top scorer didn't matter and doubted the usefulness of new Necromancer class. A woman with pink-tipped hair told they should avoid trouble, then suggested buying healing potions, mana potions, and communication devices before moving on. A calm and determined young man asked for help with supplies while the pink-haired woman listed potions and a communication device. A wearable device glowed on the wrist of a calm young man as a cheerful girl with pink hair announced she could contact him anytime. The woman with pink hair invited him to be friends and agreed as their fists met and a holographic request appeared. The woman with pink hair told she would see him at the trial tomorrow, and he gave a calm reply by the sunlit doorway. Sat cross-legged on the bed, announcing that they needed better preparation for the trial as he activated the glowing scroll in his hands. A fiery light swirled in his palm as he gained the slow curse skill and heard its details echo through the room. Walked away calmly, his slowing skill leaving the goblin-like creature struggling far behind. Considered how his abilities now fell into summoning, attack, and curse categories, thinking that each series offered him significant power. He sat quietly on the bed, thinking aloud that he hoped to learn other skill series someday. A woman with white hair waved from a glowing portal, cheerfully calling to wake up, come downstairs for breakfast, and prepare to leave. A tense hush settled as an authoritative woman warned not to wander after the teleport, while a blunt man told him not to slow them down. A woman with pink hair spoke firmly, telling the stressed dark-haired woman not to drag the group down and to resolve conflicts after the trial. A woman with glasses introduced a calm elf elder named Meow and a composed diviner named, both joining the team at level 20. A man with brown hair introduced himself as Ling, stating his level and class for everyone to see. A confident elf knight, a young man with dark hair surrounded by a necromancer's aura, and a mysterious white-haired woman are introduced with their classes and levels. A woman with black hair raised a glowing crystal and insisted the group must unite, while a figure with pink hair promised not to disrupt the trial. A confident female team member declared that the Hidden Dragon team would begin the trial teleportation as 6 figures gathered around a glowing blue crystal. A massive chain spire hovered overhead and his anxious companion stared upward, and she explained the divine tower was actually floating in the sky. Red and orange light erupted and his silent companion were hurled through space by the divine tower's sudden, overwhelming power. A lush island shimmered behind a magical barrier as a voice announced their destination, Mermaid Island. Told everyone to touch the glowing mission stone to learn about the trial's objective. Focused as he read the glowing stone tablet, learning that only the top 3 teams would earn the coveted Mermaid's tier. A mystical blue aura circled the island as the narrator explained the Mermaid's tier dungeon lay at its heart, wondering if the treasure held special power. A younger woman with an eager voice asked the serious woman before her, Sister, to share what she knew about trial missions on Mermaid Island. A young man with dark hair weighed the rarity of Mermaid tiers and explained that all nations competed fiercely for them each year. A row of shadowed figures with glowing red eyes stood ready as someone explained that Team 2 would face both academy rivals and international opponents. Outside the dungeon entrance, an inquisitive woman asked her thoughtful dark-haired companion what they should do if rival teams tried to block them. Warned the group that lives had been lost before and urged everyone to handle true danger carefully, reminding them survival came first. Reassured the concerned woman that they would not face such a dangerous situation. The team gathered beneath the towering trees and announced that he would boost their strength before they stepped onto Mermaid Island. A young man with dark hair considered whether buffs could strengthen his skeletal warrior as swirling energy gathered around them. The white-hooded character blurted out their alarm at seeing an undead summon, while the masked woman insisted the skeleton warrior was harmless and even cute. Requested a buff from the surprised hooded figure, who nervously agreed to help. The cloaked figure insisted that their skill wouldn't work, while quietly realized his own talent had completely blessing. His eye narrowed with disdain as he dismissed both the summon and its master as completely useless. A dark skeletal figure loomed behind, its glowing eyes fixed on him as he stood silent and unflinching. A confident man wielding a flaming red staff challenged the shadowed figure and demanded to know if he wanted to fight. A determined woman grabbed the arm of the brown-haired man to stop him, insisting they should finish the trial before fighting. A sinister summon radiated blue light and muttered that its stare made his whole body cold and rigid, as if facing death. A voice thundered that the trial had begun, urging everyone onto the island as three watched a determined figure sprint up the rocky slope. As they rushed forward, the woman with pink hair insisted they must reach the mermaid dungeon quickly and avoid fighting monsters, and agreed. A monstrous shape sprawled lifeless in the moonlit forest as two shadowy figures closed in, their footsteps quiet but purposeful. A sudden splash echoed as something unseen dropped into the water beside a large rock. A ferocious soldier with glowing red eyes lunged at, its status panel revealing high strength and no special skills. A determined and aggressive fighter soared forward and unleashed a crushing kick to the monstrous opponent's face. A masked female ninja sprang from the shadows and struck as a fiery creature unleashed a roaring blast of flame. Blood splattered as struck down the towering soldier, and a message announced the defeat along with a reward for captain. Aggressive and commanding in combat, drove his foot forward and sent a blazing wave of fire racing toward two distant figures. Three stand ready on rough ground, says level 21 monsters block them and assigns to control while his team prepares to push ahead. A focused young man commands a powerful wind vortex, insisting he has control, while a worried woman warns they're falling behind as the troops keep advancing. The woman with green eyes explained they were outnumbered by level 22 monsters, warning the pink-haired woman her skills might not be enough. Several vigilant lizard-like creatures clutched spears and watched the clearing below a mountain veined with blue fissures and bathed in eerie purple light. Resolute and calm, volunteered to handle the task as the apprehensive woman glanced at him in the shadowed forest clearing. Arrogant and mocking, taunted the level 17 newbie, while the masked woman ordered him to keep quiet and stop hiding behind others. The woman, inquiring and concerned, asked about his plan, and he replied that he would use the skeleton warrior to distract the monsters. A confident woman with long dark hair ordered the skeletal summon behind her to take action, saying it was now up to it. Darted forward, and the winged observer remarked in awe about how quick his movements were. A fierce woman led the charge and shouted for everyone to move ahead now that the path was finally clear. The skeleton warrior vanished into the glowing portal as a grateful woman with pink hair told they owed him for his help. A young man with dark hair complained they should have gone this way from the start, and the woman snapped that he should try leading himself. Turned with a serious look and told the other character their success was thanks to the summon, adding that maybe they were just weak. Then urgently warned everyone to run. A woman with a commanding presence yelled for everyone to retreat as dark, winged monsters swooped down toward her and the cloaked figure beside her. Someone shouted that these must be the summoners from Country Y, as called forth fiery spirits that circled him. punches the ground with explosive force, while someone explains that the summoner's skill can summon ancient gods. A young man with dark hair anxiously asked why their enemies were blocking them from going up the mountain. Commanded his allies to stay back and use the mission stone if needed, as a large monster claimed the mermaid dungeon for Country Y. One concerned soldier exclaimed that the summoner's power explained the hundreds of monsters and warned it would take hours to clear them. Then, as summoned glowing energy to lure monsters away, anxious voices argued whether a summoner could handle the threat or if it was already hopeless. A woman gasped when she realized there were two summons, as quietly sent his skeletal creature to lure the monsters away without using explosions. A glowing skeletal figure in a dark cloak called out encouragement to the determined enemies, promising drinks once the trial had ended. A skeletal figure with glowing blue markings hovered over a massive bandaged arm, declaring the third summon stable and urging everyone to advance against the summoners. Displeased and distant, turned away as three cheerful teammates promised to include him next time and thanked him for his help. Glanced back anxiously as shadowy figures closed in, wondering aloud how the enemies had managed to get past so many monsters so quickly. A young man with dark hair urgently warned the archers on the hill that they needed to stop the enemy now that they were handled. Suddenly, a torrent of arrows streaked through the sky as someone shouted that the attackers were archers from Country Y. Ordered the mages to raise protection shields as arrows rained down on him and his team. A masked woman called out too, and his skeleton warrior, insisting she was no longer afraid as the battle broke loose around them. Then the determined soldier told the captain their team was too chaotic and asked to join another group, stressing the urgent need to regroup against Country Y. Ling, a defiant man, demanded the captain choose between him, and while a cautious girl warned he was pushing things too far. The masked woman turned to Ling and remarked that he was truly impressive. A cunning and strategic damage dealer, silently plotted to use his value to the team as leverage against the captain. A determined woman in a yellow dress stood in the dappled sunlight, telling Ling that he should leave the team. A close-up captured shock as someone told him he should leave the team. Determined but shocked, demanded to know if the armored woman with a black braid really wanted him to leave the team and abandon the trial. A serious woman with green eyes stared forward, stating she had her own principles as an elven knight and could not agree to the demands. Turned away from the group with resolve, adding that he hoped no one would regret this as he left the party. A woman with braided hair gripped his hand and insisted they enter the dungeon, though he hesitated and mentioned concerns about Country Y. A masked woman urged her anxious companion to enter the dungeon, while the woman with black hair wondered aloud how they were supposed to do it. A hooded figure glanced at the pink-haired woman and quietly suggested they should follow along with the others. A cautious companion wondered aloud if retreat might be safest, then questioned why Ning seemed to trust so completely. Then a guard shouted at the group that intruders weren't allowed near the dungeon and demanded they leave immediately. An armored man rushed forward, calling others to protect the brother who could summon, while raised magical flames, determined not to let Country Y win. Smirked in the shadows, mocking his unseen opponents and suggesting they must be desperate for death to challenge him now. A monstrous attacker lunged downward as summoned fiery energy, his cloaked allies bracing behind him for the impact. A determined woman faced the imposing figure, while calmly summoned blue flames behind her, ready for what would come next. Lifted his glowing hand and called for a powerful force to rise, commanding the mystical blue energy swirling around him. A calm yet powerful necromancer unleashed a fierce slash with his glowing sword, cutting through multiple shadowy enemies as energy crackled around him. Two shocked teammates stared as skeleton army rose up, blocking every incoming attack with an overwhelming display of summoned power. Shaken, three men in traditional clothing yelled that the skeletons were far too strong. No attacks could break through such overwhelming summoned creatures. Determined and fierce, leaped forward and told his allies they had to stop the intruders from entering the dungeon. Declared that he would activate nightmare level, and a surge of dark creatures began to gather around him in the shadowy forest. soared through the air, slashing down at the glowing talismans as beams of blue energy lit up the battlefield. A determined and focused warrior surged ahead with a fierce man beside him, both charging into the next clash without hesitation. A glowing magical circle pulsed beneath 5 figures as a young man with dark hair and his companions stood poised in the cavern's light. Stood with a calm, distant gaze, looking away as a worried woman watched him from the foreground in tense silence. Calm and strategic, told the white-haired woman his skeletons were powerful, and she replied that she would block the monsters as best she could. A confident woman called out that Meow should handle healing and crowd control, while a supportive healer with mystical powers promised his blessings. A shocked woman glanced at the hooded figure, as received an unexpected notification for defeating an elite warrior and collecting new rewards. A shadowy figure with glowing red eyes stood over the water, having just defeated the elite warrior in a single, decisive strike. Stood confidently at the cave entrance, instructing the group to keep searching for the target and remarking on how quickly his skeletons dispatched the monsters. A determined woman urged everyone to hurry, proudly telling the group that skeletons were incredible as a silent young man with dark hair watched. The assertive woman with green eyes insisted there was no time to think and ordered the confused hooded man to follow her without delay. Launched himself forward with his glowing weapon, unleashing rage strike against the shadowy armored figures. A focused woman with a braid gripped a twisted object and quietly reflected that, for the first time, she felt relaxed clearing the dungeon. A young man with dark hair quietly told the pink-haired character they weren't needed here and there was nothing left for them to do. 5 figures, including, stood at the edge of a rocky platform, quietly realizing they had reached a dead end in the dungeon. A woman with pink hair pointed down into the darkness and called out that she thought the boss was waiting below. A massive white serpent with red eyes coiled in the cavern as compared its stats to his own skeletons, calculating the difference. A worried young woman declared she would distract the monster, but calmly told her that wouldn't be necessary. Without warning, shadowy creatures with glowing eyes launched themselves off the cliff, aiming straight for the tense figures standing at the edge. A huge blue creature whipped its tail down in a fierce arc, unleashing a violent surge of energy toward the cavern floor. A pink-haired young woman anxiously asked what they should do since the serpent was moving too quickly for anyone to keep up. Extended his hand and calmly told everyone not to worry as a glowing red serpent materialized, pulsing with the slow curse. Chains strained as the monstrous serpent thrashed against the pillar and reported that its movements had finally slowed. A calm young man with dark hair quietly observed the skeletal warrior confront the chained serpent and confirmed that it was a curse-type skill. Then reflected on the Necromancer's powers, wondering aloud what other abilities might be possible beyond curses and powerful summons. Unleashed glowing red chains, binding the giant serpent as it reared back and opened its jaws in defiance. A hooded figure's eyes glowed as he unleashed a surge of purple energy, the blast crackling through the darkness with overwhelming force. Glowing skeletons surged forward and calmly explained that venom would barely affect his undead summons. Bleeding purple drove his glowing sword straight down into the monstrous serpent, forcing it back against the cavern floor. Stared at the fallen shadowy figures and the shimmering loot, quietly wondering if the fight had truly ended. If you'd like to see your favorite titles retold, leave a comment and I'll be sure to pick some of them up from time to time. Also, let me know which video format you like more, long videos or short ones. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you again soon.